Thank you to our sponsor, MBA Growth Partners.
Welcome to Studio 501c3. I'm your host, Kim Jones, CEO of the Nonprofit Village, a nonprofit incubator that increases capacity and provides shared space for charitable organizations. Our show features nonprofit organizations that provide essential programs and services. They're charities the IRS designates as 501c3 because they provide a public benefit. In most cases, your donations to the nonprofits are tax deductible. We're also a proud partner of Montgomery Community Media, and MCM is your public access resource that provides a variety of information and programs relevant to Montgomery County. Today, I'm talking with Leon Seemann, the Executive Director of Adventure Theater, musical theater company. The theater educates and inspires new generations of theater artists and audiences with exceptional theatrical experiences. Leon, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Great. So Adventure Theater, described as one of the preeminent theater academies for youth in the DC region. How has this program built such an integrated and nationally renowned program for family audiences?
Well, it helps to have a 70-year history. I mean, God willing, we're going to be celebrating our 70th anniversary next year. So we've been around 1 or 2 years. We started in a very different place. We started with a bunch of mothers looking for meaningful activities for their kids, and they created us. And then about 15 years ago, we had a fundamental shift where we started doing professional productions to inspire the kids. And then the kids were all inspired and like, okay, where do we go? So we had our summer camp, but we wanted to take it a step further, and we merged with Musical Theater Center. And to become what we are now. So we have the theater, which is kind of like our front porch, and people come in, and we got about 40,000 people a year in a normal year coming in and checking us out and having an experience. And then those that get excited join us in the academy, and we have, I don't know, on a normal year, somewhere between 600 and 700 students that come to us, and like they spend hours a week with us working on their singing, their dancing, their acting. And we have like a tiered program. So with each age, it gets more technique based. And with each age, we do more variations. So we might have like jazz 1, jazz 2, jazz 3, but like layered to whatever the kid needs.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, and you have not been there for 70 years.
I have not. There's white, but not that much white.
Okay, but you do bring, Leon, so I've known you for a while. You bring a lot of years of experience in nonprofit management in general. How did you personally end up merging that experience, that charitable experience, with the arts and managing an artistic nonprofit?
Well, actually, it's the other way around. I started in the arts. I was actually a theater brat. I was a professional actor when I was a kid. I started when I was 6.
Okay.
It really came out of a place of like, I was bullied a lot, and I found my people in theater. Like, it was my one safe space. So like, I just got more and more involved. Oh, wow. Now, when I got to 13 and my voice didn't agree to change the way I wanted it to change, I switched to the management side. I did stage management for many years. I did all of the technical positions. I got my degree in theater administration. I spent a year at Center Stage. I spent 8 years at Studio Theater. And when I was at Studio Theaters is when I learned how nonprofits run. Okay. And then I paused 10 years to be a dad and a nonprofit consultant. And that's just when I thought I was out, was when Adventure Theater pulled me back in.
Okay. All right. So there we are. All right. Let's go back to talking a little bit more about this range of classes, the academy, and tell us a little bit more about, some of the stories about the participants and what types of classes, what are they named, and what do they do in a summer program or even, throughout the year?
So the summer programs are our longest running program. We have the Summer Musical Theater Center, Summer Musical Theater Camp, which is first grade through sixth grade. It's been around for 40 years. It predates the merger, and we just have like 90 kids every 2 weeks come in and have a great time. And it's just a matter of like creating a love of theater.
That's a huge number of kids to manage at a time.
Yeah,
but they're having fun. So they're
Yes.
learning and having fun.
Well, we were potting before potting was the thing. So that 90 kids is in 4 groups, grouped by age, and they do a show at the end of the 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then the older summer camp focuses on technique training. So they're with us 3 weeks. In a normal year, they will focus on jazz, ballet, singing, and acting. And then they will go to New York for a Broadway show and have a workshop with a Broadway actor. So that's like a normal summer on that program. And then the school year is kind of like a parallel track. So like the elementary classes are really about basic vocabulary while instilling a love for theater. And then as you get older, it's really technique based. I mean, if you get one of our dance instructor like Tony, like he's going to work you. He wants to see that angle. He wants to make sure that you're making nice lines. I can't do it. I don't pretend. But like he wants you to do it right.
This sounds awesome. It sounds like you need to create something, for those of us that are older kids, so that we can participate in something like this.
Well, we're actually, we're having conversations about what the role of the professional theater is and our educational philosophy. And I think we're aiming towards focusing on creating more opportunities for people that are not beginners, but like that early part of their career that need a little bit more experience and a little bit more, guidance to help them get to the next part of their career. So we're finding opportunities.
Okay, I want to ask you real quick because we've got to go to break and then we'll talk a little bit more. But 30 seconds. How do you decide on what the professional productions are going to be?
I don't. I stay out of it. We have an artistic director. His name is Phil Kong. He's very amazing. He just joined us right before the pandemic, so he really hasn't had a chance to do his thing. I'll tell you more about him after the break.
Okay. All right. We need to take a brief break, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about those professional productions, learn a little bit more about the entire Adventure Theater program. Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media. We'll be right back.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Studio 501c3, your resource on exceptional nonprofit programs in Montgomery County. I'm talking to Leon Seemann, Executive Director of Adventure Theater. So let's go back. Tell us a little bit more about your artistic director and again, about those professional productions.
Yeah, so we have an artistic director, and his role is to kind of like help guide what the season looks like. Mm-hmm. One of the things that excites me a lot about what Chill has brought to Adventure Theater is this desire and focus on bringing stories that people haven't heard before. And so we've been using the pandemic to do a show. We launched, and we're going to keep doing it every Sunday in the afternoon, where we hear new voices. And from that, he's kind of been using that to find new storytellers, find workshop plays,
What do you
all
mean by
kinds
new-
of things.
Leon, what do you mean about new voices?
So there are, if you look at the pantheon of children's literature in American culture, it is overwhelmingly white. And so he has been spending a lot of time trying to find Black, Indigenous, Asian, Latino stories that haven't been told. And, so part of that is finding stories that have already been written. And part of that is just finding storytellers that haven't had an opportunity to tell their story. And so we've been building a lot of programs around identifying these individuals, testing them out, and then giving them what we call a development contract. So we will give them a couple $1,000s to develop a story. And then if the story gets picked up and gets produced, they get a percentage of the box office.
Okay. So I know, because I know you and the organization, I know that your team has actually started much earlier than what most organizations started in terms of equity, diversity, inclusion, and you've repeatedly made this commitment to that. So this is interesting to hear that this is a very simple way for how you put that into action, and an example for other organizations too.
Well, there's a lot of gatekeeping on whose stories gets to be told and who gets to tell them. And, when we're doing our job right, we kind of get out of the way and just, let our platform be used by the community for the community. Yeah.
Let me go to scholarships, because I know that you also provide scholarships in the arts education and training. Is that something that people should be looking to the website, which we're going to put up on screen for you? More information about that?
Sure. I mean, I will say we have a commitment that price should never be a reason why you don't participate in our program. So if somebody expresses something, there's actually a great short story where, we didn't used to have scholarships at the elementary level. It was only at the secondary level. And this girl, Susanna, walked into the theater, and her mother didn't speak English, was trying to explain something to me, and I'm not fluent in Spanish, and I couldn't quite understand. And Susanna just handed me a piece of paper, and she said, "I want this to be me." And it was a picture of her on a stage with the spotlights on her. And I said, "Okay, you're in the class. I don't know what we need to do, but you're in our school." And she's been with us 4 or 5 years. She's actually done a couple productions with Ford's Theater. I think she did one at Olney now. So it's really exciting.
So you make things happen, and you understand the dreams and desires of kids that come through your door. That's incredible. So we've only got about a minute left. Tell me, what do you have in store for the future? What's your vision? What do you have coming up? What do you want people to know?
I'm excited about the new voices we're bringing to the stage. And so I'm hoping the audience is ready to come and hear new voices with us. As opposed to putting on shows you may have heard of before, we're going to focus on shows we think you'll really enjoy, that from people you may not have heard from. So come on the adventure with us with the new stories.
That is great. All right. So we are out of time, but I think we learned a lot about Adventure Theater, musical theater company, musical theater center. Leon, thanks so much for sharing great information with the audience.
Thank you for having us today. It's always great to hang out with you, Kim.
Yeah, you too. I haven't seen you enough lately. For more information on Adventure Theater, visit their website at adventuretheater-mtc.org. I'm Kim Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next edition of Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media.